Croatia, pearl of the Adriatic Sea with thousands of islands, home to the location of Game of Thrones and passionate sailors. But is it any good to start your business there? Let's talk about it now! Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel Ask Me Startup, where we talk about startups, small businesses and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I'm uploading new content. If you're into business, if you have a small business, if you plan to start a business, please feel free to download my free startup checklist, link in the description below. Today's topic, Croatia. Is it any good to start your business there? So Croatia is a Southeast European country in the Mediterranean and the Adriatic Sea. It has roughly 4 million inhabitants with its capital Zagreb. The Croatians make a GDP per capita, that's gross domestic product, PPP, purchasing power parity, of roughly $30,000 US. That already tells you that they're doing a little bit worse than their eastern neighbor Romania, but better than many of the southern East European countries itself. As I mentioned in the beginning, Croatia is home to the location of Games of Thrones, more specifically the city of Dubrovnik. Now, this very picturesque city on the ocean is world famous for tourism, and a lot of tourism actually go there, as they do in the whole country. One of the most important industry sectors in Croatia is tourism. But is that enough? So if you want to start a business in Croatia, we would like to understand how entrepreneurial are the Croatians themselves. Why? Because in one way or the other, that defines the whole framework you can place your new startup in. That could be the financial setup, that could be the access to startup hubs, and of course support by the government and the laws and the tax rules, etc., etc. And if we look at the numbers, we can say that they are not doing terribly bad or terribly good, so they're just somewhere in the middle, mediocre. Better than, let's say, Greece, for instance, but still shy of other countries that are more in the north, like Germany, France, or Switzerland. Then let's look at the legal and governmental framework. And as Croatia is the latest member to the European Union, we can state that they have a proper legal framework that is a prerequisite to be part of the European Union. However, governmental practices, and that seems to be the typical way of doing things in the southeast of Europe, lacks transparency. Transparency International ranks Croatia on rank 63 out of 180 countries they're measuring. So it is on the lower end in all of the European countries, meaning you might not necessarily always be aware while certain rules may be or must be applicable to you and not your competition. That's life. However, in terms of bureaucracy, they have upped their games and they have become more efficient than their neighbors. That also reflects that they are now offering certain visas to other people, and that will be more in the end of the video, than anyone in the Mediterranean currently. So the next thing to look at is the labor force. And if you look at the skills of the working force, we have to tell you that they have an okayish level of education. Nonetheless, it could still be improved. And we should also be aware that many of the very well-educated Croatians are actually working overseas or in the rest of Europe, because most of the times wages are higher. Nonetheless, those people that have, specifically focus on tourism have returned to Croatia because of its beautiful landscape, which helps, of course, to boost business such as tourism. You won't do it most likely in a place that is not as nice as Croatia. So if we think about starting a business in Croatia, what world-known brands are there that are Croatian? So I did the research for that video, and I have to say that most of the companies did not mean anything to me. There is one company that stuck out, and that has to do maybe with the fact that I am a car nerd in one way or the other. There is a startup founded in 2009 called Rimac. Now, Rimac is an electric car manufacturer, and they're of course not on the same scale as Tesla is, but they're doing high performance sports cars that are only perpetuated by electric engines. Now, that is interesting Why would someone start a car company in Croatia which does not have any history in car manufacturing, or let's put it in rephrase that, any important history in car manufacturing? Usually you would think of the usual suspects like Germany or maybe Czech Republic or France or Italy, but not Croatia. Interestingly, that startup has gained so much traction that they were now able to buy Bugatti out of VW. Wow. So as of November 1st, actually Rimac is not anymore called Rimac, but Bugatti Rimac. That should tell you one thing. If you have the right idea, maybe the country isn't necessarily the most important thing, but you can grow a good business and a startup to world importance out of Croatia. As of now, you might think, okay, it's a nice place. Maybe I want to start a business there. But is there a startup visa? The short answer is yes, there is. The not so short answer is it is not quite obvious how to get there if you look up governmental websites. Meaning they could have done a much better job providing the information in a clear way on the governmental websites, but they don't. Nonetheless, if you want to start a business there and you want to apply for a visa, you first have to build a company in Croatia. Now, that company, you need to own it at 51% of equity. Second, you need to have at least a startup capital of 26,000 euros roughly. And you need to hire 3 local Croatians with an unlimited contract. Only if you fulfill that, you're eligible to apply for the visa. And if you want to apply for the visa, you still need to do a lot of other things. So meaning you need to provide your passport, you need to provide health insurance, you need to prove that you're a nice person. They're actually writing that you have to provide them with an in-depth background check from your local government in order just to apply for a startup visa in Croatia. Then this visa would be valid for a certain amount of time. Nonetheless, you can already tell it's not the most easiest way to go forward. But then there's also another visa that might be interesting to many of you, the Digital Nomad Visa. To be honest, now this visa is much more clearly laid out on the governmental websites, and it seems to be one of the visas you can really apply for. This visa actually requires you to have proof of you working as a digital nomad. So you need to have a contract. You need to prove that you have at least, if you want to stay for 3 months, 2.5 months worth of expenses in your bank account. That could be anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500 euros. If you plan to stay for 12 months, you need to prove that you have the equivalent of 200,000 kuna, which is their local currency, that is roughly 25,000 euros on your bank account. Why are they doing this? I don't know. They just want to prevent people from applying for the visa and then not working as a digital nomad. Because what they're interested in is the tax money, most likely. They want people to work there, but not, have them pay social security, all these things. So if you want to apply for the visa, I will link the link down in the description. You need to have a proper passport, no criminal record. You need to provide health insurance. You need to have an address within Croatia. All these requirements are clearly laid out on the website, and they are one of the few countries in Europe that actually offer a digital nomad visa. And since it's Croatia, it's more in the south, temperature is nice, the weather is nice, the food is good. Many people might go and opt in for this country. So is Croatia a good place to start your business? I would say it depends. If you're in tourism, for sure it's a great place to go. If you have the funds to start something incredible, you will have the chance to start off from Croatia, no problem. Look at Rimac, look at their cars. They have done a good job. They're still not profitable by 100%, right? Nonetheless, it is possible to do business there. Is it a good place to start? Maybe you want to consider other countries like Malta or Romania or Bulgaria. All of them have the same issues with transparency. But if a Southeast European surrounding is important for you because you might want to sell to more Eastern countries, Eastern European countries and Asian countries, Croatia might be the place to go. All right, everybody, I hope this short video was helpful to you. If so, please leave a comment down below. If you started a business or if you have any experience as a digital nomad in Croatia, just drop a comment down below. Let us know your experiences. If you made it so far in the video, please subscribe and push the notification bell because it really helps the channel to grow. I thank you for your attention and I'm gonna see you next time.